I used to love sleeping with the ceiling fan on. Cool air, no sweat, felt great. But then I noticed something. I kept waking up, dry, mouth like sandpaper, weird tightness in my chest, and a brain that felt like it hadn't slept at all. Didn't think it was the fan, until my friend said, Feng Shui says that spinning blade above your head. It's slicing through your rest and your energy. And just like that, something clicked. So if you've been waking up tired, heavy, or out of it, even after a full night's sleep, you might want to look up. If this hits home, feel free to hit like or drop a comment. You're not alone in this shift. Let's get into it. I used to love the feeling of cold air spinning right above me at night, especially during hot summers in California. That ceiling fan? It was my best friend. Until one week, I started waking up with a weird headache, like a pressure right at the top of my head. Mouth dry, eyes scratchy, and my brain felt like it never turned on properly until noon. I thought it was dehydration, or maybe too much phone time before bed. But the pattern kept repeating. Every night, sleep. Every morning, low battery. Here's what I didn't know. In Feng Shui, your head is considered a key energy center during rest. When a ceiling fan spins directly above, it creates downward pressure, constantly slicing the air, right where your body is trying to restore itself. Instead of gentle yin energy to recharge, you're getting yang energy spinning fast non-stop right into your crown. It messes with your body's ability to rest. And over time, your energy starts dropping, quietly. It's weird when your bed doesn't feel like your recharge spot anymore. Lying there, I felt like I was trying to sleep. Instead of actually resting, I'd toss, shift. And even when I was still, my thoughts weren't. There's something exhausting about feeling almost rested, but never fully landing. It's kind of like trying to nap at the airport. Sure, you're lying down, but there's noise above you, movement all around. You can rest technically, but you're always half alert, half defensive, half empty. That's what sleeping under a spinning fan became. I looked it up one night at 1 a.m. because of course I couldn't sleep. Turns out, constant airflow over your head can dry out your nasal passages, lead to tension, headaches, and mess with melatonin cycles. Add in Feng Shui's take on disrupted qi. Suddenly it made too much sense. So I turned the fan off. First night, I couldn't sleep. Too quiet, too warm. But I cracked the window, put a bowl of ice water near the bed like I saw on TikTok, and took one deep breath. No spinning, no pressure, no buzzing air. And I actually slept. Deep, quiet, still. Now I tell people, your sleep doesn't need to feel like a wind tunnel. If you want to cool down, great. Just maybe don't aim it at your soul. You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up and it feels like someone turned your brain to oatmeal? I'd sit at my laptop, stare at the screen, and forget what I even opened it for. Emails piled up, deadlines blurred, and worst of all, I didn't even care. Coffee didn't help. Stretching didn't help. Even blasting music in the shower didn't do much. It felt like my drive, the part of me that moves forward, was stuck in molasses. In Feng Shui, sleep isn't just rest. It's when your qi rebuilds. But when a fan slices that energy above your head, you're not just tired. You're disconnected from your momentum. That spinning blade quietly fractures your money flow. It drains your focus, your clarity, your yang energy. And that's the energy you need to take action, follow through, and go after the stuff that matters. I started doubting myself. Am I just lazy? Is something wrong with me? But it wasn't depression. It wasn't burnout. It was just too many mornings of feeling behind. Before the day even started. It's like trying to drive with your foot halfway on the gas, halfway on the brake. You're moving, but everything jerks, stops, revs wrong, and you never quite get into flow. That was me every morning. Until I connected the dots. I remember telling my cousin about it. She works in wellness and casually dropped. Constant fan at night? Yeah, that messes with your REM cycles, especially if it cools your core too much. Your body doesn't complete rest stages. She said I was sleeping, but not restoring. Boom. So I moved the fan to a timer. 30 minutes to cool down before sleep. Then auto shut off. Also tried a standing fan aimed at the foot of the bed. Cool air but gentle, not slicing. Took about 3 nights to adjust. But then, wow. I stopped waking up foggy. Started feeling like me again. Who knew a tiny plastic fan could block a whole career move? These days, I give my chi the room to show up before I do. If this sounds familiar, if you've been feeling weirdly tired or scattered in the mornings, drop a comment. Not just for the video, but so someone else scrolling at 2 a.m. knows they're not the only one piecing this together. There was a stretch of nights where I kept waking up from the same kind of dream. Not a nightmare exactly, but something weirdly intense. Always running late, forgetting something, missing a train, being chased by nothing. I'd wake up sweaty, heart racing, and this tiny panic in my chest that I couldn't explain. It didn't happen every night, but when it did, I'd feel wrecked the next morning, like my body had survived the night. Instead of resting through it, turns out, when you sleep under direct airflow, especially from above, your nervous system doesn't fully relax. Feng Shui says spinning fans above the head disturb your Shen, the spirit energy that governs calm, clarity, and peaceful dreaming. So instead of deep yin sleep, your system stays alert, on edge, in micro-defense mode, which explains the stress dreams that kept looping like reruns I never asked for. I started dreading bedtime, lying there, knowing my body needed rest, but bracing for another night of subconscious chaos. It messes with you when even your dreams start feeling like unpaid overtime. You know those nights in a hotel when the AC unit kicks on every 15 minutes? And your body jolts a little each time? Even if you're half asleep, you feel it. Now imagine that, but non-stop, right over your head. That's what my sleep became. I watched a YouTube video by a sleep doctor who explained how continuous airflow over the head can keep the vagus nerve lightly stimulated, messing with parasympathetic balance and lowering the chance of true deep sleep. Science meets Feng Shui, I guess. One night, I flipped the script, turned the fan off, lit a little lavender candle, put my phone across the room. Then I placed a small ceramic bowl of water under the window and whispered, "Let tonight be soft." I don't know what did it, but I slept like a stone. No stress loop, no dream rush, just sleep. Moral of the story? You don't need to fight your dreams. You just need to stop aiming turbulence at your brain. There was a point where I started avoiding my bedroom. Not consciously, but I'd stay up later in the kitchen, scroll longer on the couch, even folded laundry I didn't care about just to not go in. I thought I was just being lazy. But the truth? The moment I walked into that room, something about it felt weirdly cold. Emotionally cold. Like it stopped caring if I was there. And when I did force myself to crawl into bed, I didn't feel comforted. I felt tolerated. In Feng Shui, airflow is more than temperature. It's directional energy. And when the ceiling fan runs night after night directly above you, it can shift the entire room's vibration. Instead of supporting yin energy for rest, the room starts holding yang tension. Sharp, fast, circular. Not grounding. It doesn't embrace you. It pushes back. And slowly, your body picks up on that, even before your mind does. It's a strange kind of loneliness. Being in your own bed and still feeling like you haven't arrived. I'd lie down but stay curled. Never fully stretch. Like I wasn't sure the space was mine. And when your body doesn't trust the space it sleeps in, rest never lands. It felt like walking into a room where someone just had an argument. No shouting, no mess. Just that leftover charge in the air. Like something's still spinning. And you're not welcome to settle. That's what my room had become. Without me realizing it. I told my coworker, Lisa, over lunch. She laughed and said, "Girl, that's a nervous system on alert. That fan's probably overactivating your sense of direction and space." She said constant overhead spin keeps your peripheral vision in light tension. Even with eyes closed, the body reads it as subtle danger. No wonder I couldn't fully relax. So I changed things. Turned the fan off completely. Opened the window, let real air drift in. Added a soft curtain. Lit a salt lamp. Then I sat on the edge of the bed. No phone, no noise. Just me. And for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel like leaving the room. I exhaled. And the room felt like it exhaled back. Sometimes it's not that your space doesn't love you back. It's just been spinning in circles too long, waiting for you to turn the energy down. One night around 2 a.m., I woke up out of nowhere. No sound, no nightmare. Just this strange jolt. My eyes opened wide. And I swear for a second, I felt like I was in the middle of something moving. Not earthquake moving. More like a swirl, a slow spin around me. It passed in seconds, but I couldn't fall back asleep. My chest felt tight. My head buzzed. And the silence wasn't peaceful. It was charged, like the air itself had been disturbed. In Feng Shui, spinning energy above the body while sleeping can create what they call a vortex field. It keeps the qi cycling above the crown, never letting it settle into the body. This disrupts the natural descending energy needed for deep yin rest. Instead of grounding your body, it lifts your spirit just slightly, out of sync. You wake up feeling off, anxious, sometimes even dizzy, without knowing why. That night made me feel like I wasn't sleeping in my bed. I was sleeping under something. Like the bed was mine, but the space above me didn't belong to me anymore. It had its own pulse. And it wasn't resting. It's like trying to nap in a laundromat. While the dryers are going, you're still. But something around you keeps turning. Your nervous system stays alert, waiting for something to stop. That's what the fan did. Night after night. Silent turbulence on repeat. I came across an old Feng Shui blog from a practitioner in Taiwan. He said sleeping under constant overhead spin can disrupt soul anchoring during deep night hours. And on the science side, some therapists note that subtle airflow, especially rotational, can keep your vestibular system slightly stimulated, messing with REM, dreams, and nighttime blood pressure. Translation: your body never fully lets go. So I unplugged the fan. Not turned off, unplugged. I got a small plant, placed it in the far corner, cracked the window just half an inch. And that night, when I laid down, it finally felt like the sky above me was quiet. No movement, no spin, just stillness and sleep. Now, when people ask me how I sleep without a fan, I tell them, peace doesn't always come from blowing things around. Sometimes it shows up when the air finally stops. Sometimes we think rest means still lying down, or that sleep just means the body goes quiet. But real rest comes from feeling held by the space, by the energy, by the stillness that doesn't press down on you. If something as small as a ceiling fan can shift the way your body recharges, then maybe it's worth checking what else in your home is quietly spinning things out of balance. If this landed somewhere real for you, hit the like, maybe subscribe, or just drop a line in the comments. Not for me, but for that part of you that knows you're ready for things to flow softer again. Your space speaks. Wisdom listens.